Welcome everyone to our last professional discussion forum. We are so happy today to have a very heavyweight guest speaker joining this forum. Let me introduce one by one. The gentleman next to me, Mr. Mark Lee. He is the Chief Product Officer of KVB Global. And the gentleman in the middle, Mr. Henry Yu. He is the Chief Compliance Officer of Airstar Bank, which is a virtual bank in Hong Kong. And Gigi Lee, thank you very much for joining us. She is coming from HKTVmall, the Sales Director, Category Management. Okay, thank you all joining today's section. So we have today's topic, enhancing the efficiency of digital banking and financial service for businesses. So let's start from business, and particularly starting from pain points, right? So you all from different professional areas. So would you like to share with us some pain points you may have, experience with your clients in terms of, obtaining banking and financial service? So Gigi, perhaps let you share first.
Yes, hello, nice to meet you all. I'm Gigi from HKTVmall. Actually, for the pain point, we have around 4,000 SME already, and we have chat with them. They will explain to us what is the pain point for obtaining financial loan or capital, because they are not very familiar with the online business before. So once they try to apply an account or try to set up an online business, they will have difficulty to have knowledge to the new digital banking issue, because they are very local and not very familiar with the product. So they will have hesitation to provide more details to the online banking, because they will think that should I follow the traditional banking process to get the loan, but it is a very far lead time. So they will have some hesitation and difficulty when they apply our online business, because we need a bank account, and they would like to learn more about that. Yes. And they will afraid of the security issue, because there is many cyber attacks recently. So they will afraid of when they earn money, will it safe, or how can they safely borrow some money from the online banking?
Yeah, agree. Yes, especially for business users, normally the volume of transaction is more frequent and with higher amounts. So that's why they are very cautious about security, cyber security, and whether they can trust a virtual bank, particularly virtual bank, very challenging. So, Henry, can you share with us a bit more about that?
I think, Gigi rightfully pointed out, it's about the confidence of the customer and the customer journey, that, whether we as a virtual bank can give the trust to them to try us, right? And then I think it's a journey, right? On the other hand, it's also like we also have to balancing, as you on one hand to protect the customer as well, right? And on the other hand to also give them a very good journey. I think this is kind of like a balancing exercise.
Yes. Other than that, they will afraid of the complicated regulation on the online banking. It is key that they are not familiar with before, so they would like to know more or try to use more time to study. Yes.
Exactly. So Mark, okay, you are not only the Chief Product Officer, but also a Global Head of Product Partnership. So I understand that KVB Global has many footprint in many Asian countries. So perhaps you can share with us if you have broader view of the business user.
Yeah, thank you. I actually was about to bring another dimension for the discussion. Is I want to share three things. The first thing is for KVB, we are working in Hong Kong, Canada, New Zealand, Singapore, and Australia, and we do a lot of in Greater China as well, right? I would like to bring back the discussion to what Gigi has shared. Is we actually work with a lot of e-commerce platforms as well. Many of our clients are not only Hong Kong SMEs, but also China SMEs or global SMEs, right? I think the first challenge that our clients are really facing is about the restricted currencies. So they really need banks But sometimes banks in Hong Kong, no matter if it's a virtual bank or like a physical bank, right, they do not have the breadth of currencies that they need. But right now we all know Vietnam is one of the largest markets. It's very hard to do Vietnam in Hong Kong with Airstar for now. China is one of the biggest markets, right? So I think that's one of the pain points they have from a geographic standpoint. Another part also related to what Gigi has shared is they actually want to have lending solutions much better or more effectively because they have the data in HKTVmall. They have the data in Jingdong, in eBay, in Amazon. But with this data, it is worthless unless they can use it as working capital. So they always have been asking for, hey, providers like us or like Airstar, can there be smarter and faster like a lending solution provided them, right? I think the last pain point is really back to our own pain points is we also suffer a lot because a lot of the times it's the client, even if it is in a reputable e-commerce platform like HKTVmall, right? Are these real clients? How can we prove they're real clients? Even on the onboarding, our regulators or our compliance officers, can they trust HKTVmall's data that if they trade in HKTVmall before, they're a good client? Can we do this?
Yes.
This is actually our challenge that we have to learn and get more like a support from SKs in this arena to give us more support. So I think these are from our client side and from our side that what we face.
Yeah. So all pain points may be more relating to get to know the customer, get to know the real business or a trust issue.
Yeah.
Rather from a customer perspective, that the customer can really rely on the so new digital banking and financial service. Thank you very much. So let's move on. So we have some understanding of the current pain points, in different areas. So how about from your perspective, e-commerce perspective, banking perspective, and international financial service and payment perspective? How do you think that your client, especially business client, are expecting the changes that will be brought from the innovation from fintech world? Well, let's start from Gigi first.
Yes, they will expect that the service or the provider will have more AI technology to try to how to tailor-make some financial solution to them and try to know what's their recommendation and fit some flexible and some plan which is fit for them. So other than that, actually the AI can help to have a real-time support to their side because they would like to have a real-time support even after the banking official hour. They would like to know more or try to know the plan's details. So they would like to go for more AI technology and the so-called support. Yes.
How about banking?
Well, I think absolutely agree. On top of that, I think not only for banking, but it is more sort of like we are in the what we call the mobile. So what we see is the instant response 24/7,
Yeah.
right? So it is a kind of thing that they do have an expectation that when I click on something, it will be appear now.
Yes.
Exactly.
Few minutes. Is there anything wrong? And I connected or not?
Yes.
I think this is a kind of expectations for all of us. When we face the customer.
Yeah, so that's why HSBC is reopening their branch during weekend and Sunday, right? So virtual bank absolutely has your advantages. Okay, thank you. So Mark.
I think there are two things from my side. The first thing is if I use the Chinese term, right? 好實在嘅. Our clients want us to ask them less questions. Or they want banks to ask them less questions. Let's be honest, because a lot of times, even for financial institutions like us, right? Many of the times we ask our clients, what is this transaction for? Even if they're giving us this invoice or even like a bill of ladings and everything, we still ask many questions. I'm sure Airstar and many banks does the same. They want us to ask less. And if we can't lower our compliance standard, how can we use data to keep our compliance officers happy and not also keep our clients happy? I think that's the first need they have. I think the second is more less on the compliance side, but more on the run the business side, right? I think the clients want our service to be embedded in e-commerce or in the platforms, but not having like a standalone experience. To say this a little bit further, right? They hope our banking services can be inside HKTVmall.
Yeah.
They hope our services can be inside Jingdong and everything, but not like a separate service, right? I recall back like 4 years ago, right? In my previous employer, we talked about like invisible banking, right? I think the market still hasn't improved that well. I hope like with fellow like RD technologies, and also what we can do is if we can bring the clients and the banking service into platforms in an invisible manner, then they don't need to deal with me or you. They can deal with HKTVmall in one way to do all their finances, the B2C or B2B transactions. I think this is what they're looking for.
Yeah. So as a RD technologies as a fintech service provider, I also agree about the expectation from the business user, especially SME, because they have been, so painful, according to our chairman, okay, in terms of obtaining banking and financial service from a KYC point of view, and also innovative payment solution. So the last round of question is about, can you share with us anything that in your area that you are doing or you are thinking about to do in terms of innovation, okay, for greatly improve your business client experience? So Gigi.
Actually, we have cooperation with some traditional bank before to let them to try to approach a client to have a faster approval way of the financial, because they will think that HKTVmall is a reliable company and we have many merchants. So the client will not run away, so it is more credible. So we would like to have more cooperation with some digital banking and to give them some financial support, then they can push their business in our platform, then achieve the win-win situations.
Yeah.
So actually I have to say thank you to SK, because I'm sure I will have a lot of conversations with Gigi and Mark after this event, because I think for us, Airstar, if you look at, we always think what is our competitive edge. We are focusing on what we do, what a banks do. A bank is taking deposit, loan the money.
Yeah.
This is our job, right? And then our strategy is we do what we're good at it, and then we try to partner with different partnerships to leverage their advantages. Just like we signed a cooperation agreement with Audi, because you guys are good at onboarding SME, and this is why when we are exploring how we can, when we do the SME market, how can we leverage the technologies, the knowledge, the customer database, and then going to the market questions. Why we don't have a lot of FX currency, because we are not good. That good as yours. Maybe we can have a talk on that one, so that we can also look at how we leverage on that one. Likewise, why there were so many passions, because we don't know the customer, right? We don't know the customer, and the customer don't know us, right? It is a two-way, right? And this is why the customer is afraid. Well, should I press this button in this bank or not? But if we can, understand the customer through Hong Kong TV Mall, understand the customer through, Maasai, then it can, change the world, and it is where we can try a little bit more closer to invisible per se. And in fact, the second point I wanted to say is, for us, one of the things that we are doing is using more analytic data, understand the transactions patterns, all that thing above and beyond, traditional banking. Try to ask less questions, because those answers should have been, incorporated in your data. How you will be able to dig out the data, how you can, making sure less false alert, asking silly questions, right? So I think these are the two things that, digital banking, virtual banking should be moving forward to, and this is what we're doing.
Absolutely agree with you.
Yep. Actually, he has said many of the things I want to say. I think I have three things. I think what we are trying to do. The first thing is quite overlap from what you said, but I still need to repeat this. What we are trying to, I can't use the term innovate, but what we're trying to do things differently is we're trying to package everything all together as a banking service and provide our customers. So I think we're slightly different from a bank. I mean, we're more flexible from a regulation, but less like ability that we can do. So for example, like what products that we can do, we can issue cards, we can actually take cards as products, we don't take deposits, but we can do FX, right? What we're trying to is get as much products into our platform together, or we can call it like an ecosystem, and then serve our clients. But we don't have the capital size, or we don't have the ability to do everything ourselves. So we need Airstar to take the deposits, we need trade finance providers to work with us, so that we can actually offer a really good experience for the client. I think that's something that we're trying to do. This leads to the second thing that we're trying to offer as well is very humbly and luckily for clients to onboard with our KVB for bank accounts. Normally as an SME it takes 3 to 4 days. I just did my review with my boss yesterday, right? Our average TAT is 4 days we can open a bank account with full service. I think it's better than Airstar for now, but we are not satisfied with this. So I've got a new KPI yesterday. We want to make it to 1 day in order to open a banking service. So I think that is something that we are working on very closely. Probably the clients doesn't really see this change. They can only see the before and after, but it means a lot of the process and improvement that we have at the back end. And that goes into the third part, which I hope RD can work very closely with all of us is, I know the or the identity, like I don't know what it's being called. I think it's a very good innovation, and I think right now it only stores customers' data, like the company information or the UBO. That's it for now. I'm sure that along the innovation, right, it needs to store transaction data. It needs to show the purchase data in HKTVmall. Then when everything is in a token, either it is a Web3 digital token or in your own ledger, right? Then banks, then clients and everything can all refer back to your that identity, and then see everything. I really see this as the new trend because, again, today we're not talking about using crypto for settlements or too much in blockchain, but if all the customers' identity and the transactions and information are all in one, then for us, we just need to ask customers less questions. But compliance friends can go into you and check and control everything. I think this is the future, but I think the journey to make this happen is very hard, but we need to help them make this dream to reality.
Yeah, thank you very much for your sharing. And it is not the end yet, okay? I just want to thank them. Even though the first 3 rounds of questions, I try to ask separately their views and in their own areas, but you have identified that all their sharings gradually become an integrated understanding and the overview of the future development. That will, some of the keywords you mentioned about an ecosystem, right? About the edges of a bank and a financial institutions or payment company and the e-commerce platform. Perhaps let me drill a little bit deeper into a topic about lending. But that lending is the hot topic since 3 years ago when HKMA launched the Commercial Data Interchange project. That the whole objective is to make good use of commercial data. Okay, commercial data can be arising from an e-commerce platform and arising from logistic data and arising from a transaction and ethics and payment data together. But now what we have seen so far in the past 2 years, those use cases are a little bit more focused on bilateral cooperation. That we will be, we have been seeing a data provider at one end, okay, maybe a e-commerce platform, okay, and another end is a bank. Okay, so they make use of the CDI as a platform to transfer the customer data to supplement the SME to borrow money from a particular bank. Okay, this is an idea of using big data or alternative data, which is very useful and has been very successful in mainland China. Okay, but what about the way we have just shared and discussed, a collaboration of multiple parties, okay, to make this set of alternative data to be more comprehensive. For example, in contrast to a bilateral cooperation, what about a SME customer, okay, can make use of its own e-commerce data, not only from one platform, but multiple platforms, together with some payment and FX transaction, okay, proving the genuine existence of their business together, and how bank can consider all together the additional data, and together with, of course, your own credit assessment process. So let me ask your view, how you think about that, and the possibility of realizing this kind of more comprehensive, more complicated cooperation to further enhance the use of alternative data.
Maybe I'll share first. So 4 years ago, I was on stage in the Hong Kong FinTech Week. I was in a bank. I was having the same topic. On my side was another large bank in Hong Kong. On the side was a shipping company, the largest on earth. And on the side was a blockchain expert, right? The response I gave at that time was, I don't think it's possible. Right now, I still think it is not possible. Not because of technology reason, but let me ask all of us a question is, are you willing to press the button and open this data up all to other banks? I don't have an answer for that. The data is available. The technology is available. I'm sure with all this information, the credit risk team can do this. But we find a 心理問題, like the mentality of companies, right? Are you willing to open this up yet? I think this is the problem. And right now, for me, if I'm a company owner, I don't know. So I think this is the greatest challenge. So I hope this can be successful. I'm sure platforms like a HKTVmall or banks really love this. But will the clients be really willing to do this from a client mindset? I'm not so sure.
So let me introduce you after this section about a sport brand name Adidas. Nothing is impossible. Okay. So Henry, what's your view?
Well, I think in theory it works, and in practical, nothing is impossible, as you rightfully say. But there are challenges. The challenges is the willingness of the people to share it, right? It is, because nowadays data is money, or the new oil. What is the, my advantages of sharing this data? What did I get returned? I think this is one of the things that, we need to find out a formula for those who contribute the data, who have some sort of return, either monetary-wise or either efficiency-wise or things like that, so that people are willing to contribute to that pool of data per se. I think this is one of the things. The second thing about, I don't know whether blockchain can do it, because not in my current role, but in my previous role, I also involved in quite a little bit of this kind of web, online trade finance. We work on instant data, day to day, right? So this is another level that we need to think about it, because the credit limit will be various, on yourselves, very instant, and this is the attractiveness of like an online trade finance facility, right? Because I can look back, every day your limit is changing. If you're doing your job better, you got more. If you're doing the job less, your credit line maybe, and this is good for the lender as well, because it is not a static line, right? And if you put it into a pool, I think there is another, I'm not an expert, but this is how we can cooperate that, all this data, conversion, all this kind of thing. Who is the one, or is there anyone to coordinate? And then back to the point, what is the commercial, back up for me to do that, or who to do that? I think this, as long as we can figure it out, yeah, why not?
Yes, my opinion is half-half. Actually, for e-commerce, it is a key to let our business partner to know more our data and let our merchant to make decision after analyze those data. But the key is how we to protect those sensitive data, because it will involve many parties and involve many legal issues. So we think that we need to have some guideline to make it more proper Actually, we have an open data plan in our e-commerce platform, and no matter open to our merchants, it is open to Apple Pay. So recently, actually the technology of ChatGPT is increasing, so we are also concerned about our data prefix and the cyber attack. So we have suspended the service in a short term, so to try to have some method to enhance how to protect is a key. And after that, we would like to let our merchant to use it more efficiently. Yes.
So thank you very much for your sharing today. And you know, we are all in the age of innovation, now fintech, and also the coming Web3, right? So we have the destiny to do innovation. So let's do it. Just do it. Nothing is impossible. Okay, I mentioned Nike and Adidas. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.